In a world where survival was never a given but a constant daily struggle, the lives of medieval peasants were shaped by battles against invisible enemies. It wasn't swords and shields that defined their fight, but relentless diseases, failed harvests, and a feudal system that placed an unbearable weight upon their shoulders. The story many of us know, full of knights, castles, and epic battles, often overlooks the true core of the Middle Ages, the people who held the empire together, the peasants. They were the silent foundation of a society in constant flux, and their lives, though marked by adversity, offer us lessons in resilience, adaptation, and quiet resistance. This isn't just a history lesson, it's an exploration of the human condition, a testament to the enduring power of hope and the unbreakable bonds of community. It's a journey into the heart of medieval life, a journey that will challenge our assumptions, broaden our understanding, and perhaps even inspire us to face our own challenges with greater courage and resilience. Forget the romanticized images of knights and castles. This is the story of the people who truly built the Middle Ages, the peasants who toiled in the fields, survived the plagues, and ultimately shaped the world we live in today. Their story is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can endure, adapt, and ultimately triumph. The archaeological record offers tantalizing glimpses into the material world of the medieval peasant, providing tangible evidence of their ingenuity and resilience. We move beyond chronicles penned by the elite and delve into the very dirt they toiled. Consider, for instance, the humble remains of a peasant dwelling unearthed in a small village in Norfolk, England. Far from the grand stone structures of the nobility, this was a simple wattle and daub construction, its walls formed from interwoven branches plastered with mud and straw. Yet within its meager confines, archaeologists discovered a wealth of information about the lives of its inhabitants. The discovery wasn't dramatic, no glittering gold or monumental statues. Instead, it was the painstaking work of sifting through layers of accumulated debris, revealing fragments of pottery, discarded animal bones, and the telltale signs of everyday life. A broken quernstone used for grinding grain spoke of the constant labor required to produce food. A collection of worn leather shoes, patched and repaired numerous times, hinted at the distances traveled and the resourcefulness employed in making do with limited resources. Most significantly, the presence of charred grains of rye and barley offered evidence of the crops that sustained the family, while also hinting at the ever-present threat of fire. The excavation also unearthed a small hoard of iron tools, a sickle for harvesting crops, a hoe for tilling the soil, and an axe for felling trees. These tools, though simple in design, were essential for survival, representing a significant investment for a peasant family. Their presence suggests a degree of self-sufficiency and the ability to maintain and repair their own equipment, skills passed down through generations. The location of the dwelling itself, nestled close to a stream and surrounded by fertile fields, further underscores the importance of access to resources in determining the success of a peasant community. Furthermore, the analysis of soil samples revealed evidence of crop rotation and other agricultural techniques employed to maximize yields. These practices, often dismissed as primitive, were in fact sophisticated strategies developed over centuries of trial and error. Peasants understood the importance of maintaining soil fertility and preventing exhaustion, rotating crops such as legumes to replenish nitrogen levels. They also practiced manuring, using animal waste to enrich the soil and improve its structure. These techniques, while labor-intensive, were crucial for ensuring a stable food supply in a world where famine was a constant threat. The team also uncovered evidence suggesting a degree of social stratification within the peasant community itself. While all peasants faced similar challenges, some were undoubtedly better off than others. The presence of certain luxury items, such as imported pottery or metal ornaments, in some dwellings suggests a degree of wealth and status. This reinforces the understanding that medieval peasant society was not a homogeneous mass, but rather a complex and nuanced social structure with its own hierarchies and inequalities. The findings from this small Norfolk village and countless similar sites across Europe provide a powerful counterpoint to the traditional narrative of the Middle Ages, highlighting the ingenuity, resilience, and complexity of peasant life. To truly grasp the peasant experience, we must situate their lives within the broader framework of medieval feudalism. This system, a complex web of obligations and loyalties, dictated nearly every aspect of their existence. Unlike the free farmers of antiquity, medieval peasants were largely bound to the land, serfs beholden to a lord who controlled their labor and resources. This wasn't outright slavery, but it severely restricted their freedom of movement and economic opportunities. They were tied to the manor, obligated to work the lord's land for a certain number of days each week, a duty known as week work. They also owed a portion of their own harvest known as boon work, further diminishing their already meager income. Beyond these direct labor obligations, peasants were subject to a variety of other dues and taxes. They paid a heriot upon the death of a family member, essentially an inheritance tax that often stripped the family of their most valuable possessions. They paid a merchet when a daughter married, a fee that acknowledged the lord's loss of her labor. They were required to use the lord's mill to grind their grain, paying a fee for the service, even if the mill was inefficient or poorly maintained. These obligations, often arbitrary and unpredictable, created a climate of constant insecurity and dependence. Yet the feudal system wasn't simply a one-way street of exploitation. Lords also had certain responsibilities to their peasants, providing protection from outside threats and maintaining order within the manor. In times of famine or hardship, some lords might offer assistance, although this was often motivated by self-interest, recognizing that a starving peasantry was incapable of producing wealth. Furthermore, peasants had certain rights and protections under customary law, which varied from manor to manor. They could appeal to the manorial court to resolve disputes with their neighbors, or even with the lord himself, although the outcome of such appeals was often uncertain. Consider, for instance, the complex relationship between peasants and the church. While the church owned vast tracts of land and extracted its own tithes from the peasantry, it also provided spiritual guidance and a sense of community. Religious festivals and holidays offered moments of respite from the relentless toil of daily life. The local priest, often himself of peasant origin, could serve as a mediator between the peasants and the lord, advocating for their interests and providing comfort in times of distress. Furthermore, the church offered a pathway to social mobility, with some peasants entering monastic orders and rising to positions of power and influence. Looking at the broader picture, the medieval peasants' existence was a delicate balancing act. They were subject to the whims of nature, the demands of the lord, and the dictates of the church. Yet they were not passive victims. They actively negotiated their position within the feudal system, utilizing customary law, collective action, and even subtle forms of resistance to protect their interests and improve their lives. Their story is a testament to the enduring human capacity for resilience and adaptation, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. Scientific inquiry provides us with ever-sharpening tools to dissect the medieval peasant's world, revealing insights previously locked away. Dendrochronology, for instance, offers a precise method for dating wooden structures and artifacts, allowing us to pinpoint the construction date of peasant dwellings and understand the lifespan of their tools with unprecedented accuracy. By analyzing tree rings, scientists can also reconstruct past climate conditions, identifying periods of drought or excessive rainfall that may have triggered famines and shaped agricultural practices. Pollen analysis, another invaluable technique, allows us to reconstruct the vegetation landscape surrounding medieval villages. By examining pollen grains preserved in soil samples, scientists can determine the types of crops that were cultivated, the extent of deforestation, and the presence of wild plants used for food or medicine. This provides a detailed picture of the peasants' environment and their interaction with it. For instance, a higher concentration of weed pollen in a particular field might indicate soil exhaustion or poor agricultural practices, while the presence of medicinal herbs could point to the peasant's knowledge of traditional remedies. Isotopic analysis of skeletal remains offers further insights into the peasant diet. By analyzing the ratios of different isotopes in bone and teeth, scientists can determine the types of food that individuals consumed throughout their lives. This can reveal whether peasants primarily subsisted on grains, vegetables, or animal products, and whether their diet varied depending on their social status or geographic location. Furthermore, isotopic analysis can also reveal evidence of migration, indicating whether individuals moved from one region to another during their lifetime. Now contemplate the application of paleopathology, the study of ancient diseases. By examining skeletal remains, scientists can identify evidence of infectious diseases, nutritional deficiencies, and traumatic injuries. This provides a grim but revealing glimpse into the health challenges faced by medieval peasants. For example, the presence of lesions on bones might indicate tuberculosis or leprosy, while evidence of iron deficiency anemia could point to malnutrition or parasitic infections. Furthermore, paleopathology can also reveal evidence of violence, such as healed fractures or skull trauma, suggesting the prevalence of interpersonal conflict or warfare. Consider too the power of archaeobotany, the study of plant remains from archaeological sites. This discipline goes beyond pollen analysis to examine seeds, fruits, and other plant parts, providing detailed information about the crops that were cultivated and consumed. Archaeobotanical studies can reveal the diversity of peasant diets, the presence of exotic or imported foods, and the impact of climate change on agricultural production. They can also shed light on the methods used for storing and processing food, such as drying, salting, or fermenting. In essence, these scientific investigations offer a multifaceted view of medieval peasant life, moving beyond the written record to provide tangible evidence of their diet, health, environment, and agricultural practices. Reflecting on this journey so far, a complex portrait emerges, far removed from the simplistic narratives often painted of medieval peasant life. It's a tapestry woven with threads of hardship and resilience, obligation and agency, scarcity and ingenuity. The archaeological record, the historical context, and the scientific investigations each contribute a unique hue, blending to reveal a richer, more nuanced understanding of this often overlooked segment of society. The convergence of these diverse perspectives underscores a fundamental truth. Survival in the medieval world wasn't merely a matter of physical endurance, but a testament to the human capacity for adaptation and innovation. The peasant's existence was a constant negotiation, a delicate dance between meeting the demands of the feudal system and securing their own well-being. Their lives were shaped by forces beyond their control, yet they were far from passive victims, actively shaping their own destinies within the constraints of their environment. The legacy of medieval peasants, forged through resilience and cooperation, continues to shape our world today. Their contributions, often overlooked, remain etched in the very fabric of our society, reminding us of the power of community and the human spirit's capacity to endure. As we reflect on their story, it's clear their strength lies not only in surviving, but in thriving together, even in the face of unimaginable challenges. What lessons can we learn from their resilience in our own times? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights. Together, we can continue building a more just and equitable future.